Welcome to NuttieBuddie Sports. Previewing the Las Vegas Raiders.
Okay, let's do it. So let's talk about the Las Vegas Raiders. They finished second in the division last year. I didn't mention that the Chargers were 9-8, or maybe I did. I don't remember. But anyway, they played that last game to get into the playoffs, and the Chargers lost. The Raiders won. So I think the Raiders got in the playoffs last year. But they finished 10-7. So what is the big question? So what I'm going to do from here on out, we're going to go get back and forth. So let's start with Tyler on this one. What is your biggest question for the Las Vegas Raiders?
How will the reunion between Derek Carr and Davante Adams go? I'm really looking forward to finding out. I really think could be some big things happening there.
Okay, yeah. They traded a lot for him, so we'll see what happens. How about you, Jason?
Yeah, I mean, my biggest concern with them is that offensive line, it was bad last year, and they didn't do anything to improve it. It looks like it could be the worst in the NFL. So that's my biggest question.
Yeah, that's a good point. I had Derek Carr. Is he going to be that guy? Like, I kind of like him, but I think like he's a Matthew Stafford light type of player where he shows flashes that he can be a solid quarterback, and then there's moments that you just don't know. But some of that is because his offensive line isn't always great. And sometimes he just doesn't have the weapons. Like, he had a really good start of the year before Henry Ruggs. No, it wasn't. Was it Ruggs? He had that car. Yeah. And then it just kind of went downhill, which you can't necessarily blame him because that's a huge part of the offseason and the offense, that when you lose someone like that off your team. But he is the type of quarterback, I think, that just needs everything kind of set around him, and he can be good. He can lead a team to the playoffs, but he needs that. And so it is, other than the question mark at offensive line, which is important, the rest of his weapons are so good. This is kind of like, as good as it's going to get. So can he be that guy to win a playoff game, to get over the hump, to win this division? So is Derek Carr that guy? That's my question.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to our next one then. Favorite offseason move for the Raiders. Let's start with you, Jason. What's your favorite offseason move?
Yeah, I had a couple on my list, actually. The re-signing of Max Crosby. I really like him. I think he's a really good player. And then them adding Chandler Jones as well.
Yeah, I thought that one was really good because, again, the division you're in, you got to get to the quarterback. So you put Max Crosby with Chandler Jones, and that's gonna be a good duel as well. There's a lot of good pass rushing duels in this division. Tyler, what about you? What's your favorite offseason move for the Raiders?
My favorite move for him was for Davante Adams. I think he's going to be a game changer for Derek Carr. And I mean, I was really bummed when I saw that they had traded for him, knowing that he was going to be in the same division as the Chargers. I really think that's going to be a good connection. And going back to Derek Carr last year with Henry Ruggs, and he was doing really good. He was playing like a good quarterback. And so now that he's got someone who's better than Henry Ruggs, I think really raises his ceiling of what he can do. So Davante Adams.
Yeah. No, I had both those moves down. I like both those moves. The only question mark I have with Adams is the same one. Like, is he going to end up like Greg Jennings, Mike Wallace, these prolific receivers that when they move from their Hall of Fame quarterbacks, they're just not the same player? That's the only question I have with Davante Adams. Now, maybe it's no, but it is nice when you have Aaron Rodgers throwing you the football. He makes you look good. So we'll see how that turns out. Let's see. Let's go. Any other good moves in free agency? I think I hit everybody, right? Okay, perfect. Okay, let's just do the least favorite move. Let's start with Tyler on this one. Tyler, what was your least favorite offseason move by the Raiders?
Least favorite move was actually the hiring of Josh McDaniels for their head coach.
Okay.
I'm really not I mean, I don't know if maybe Jason would agree. Josh McDaniels didn't do so great with the Broncos. You look at his best years in for New England, he had Tom Brady and he was under Belichick. So I think most of his success is due to that. When they lost Tom Brady, I didn't see anything that made him any more special than than the next guy. So I really don't see that being a good move for them, especially after John Gruden. They had all that controversy. Josh McDaniels, I'm not a big fan. I'm actually happy they hired him because I hope it makes the Raiders not good.
That's a good point, Jason. You have some of that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, when he came to the Broncos, he was wearing the hooded shirt, and it looked like he was trying to be Belichick when he came to the Broncos. I don't know that he was fully comfortable with himself. Maybe I don't know. It was really weird, seeing him do stuff like that, like he was trying to be another Belichick instead of himself. Maybe he's changed with time, but yeah, I was not impressed either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, at the very least, yeah, like you said, Tyler, it could be a good thing that the Raiders hired Josh McDaniels. Again, it's that Nathaniel Hackett type question. Like, is this guy good just because of his environment, or is he actually good? McDaniels did have a chance to show that. Now, let me ask you, Jason, was that Tim Tebow?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So there's also that aspect of it where there is this sort of like bigger than life character that like you kind of had to deal with that maybe most coaches don't have to deal with. You wonder how much like him trying to be Belichick and also all the drama that you got to kind of build your offense and your team around this guy who is such a unique player that can't throw the ball really good but can win games somehow. So you just don't know what to do. Go ahead, Jason.
Yeah. So yeah, he traded up for Tebow, so he kind of put that on himself.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, Tyler.
And then seeing too the controversy with him and the Colts. I mean,
Yes.
that was just a few years ago,
Mhm.
and he was going to be the head coach and then backing out. I mean, there's just all these things with him that just um, they don't fly. They don't fly with me.
Yeah. No, I agree. I'm not a big fan of that hiring either. Let's see. Jason, you have a least favorite offseason move?
Yeah, I actually have the Devonte Adams move as my
Oh,
least favorite, and
okay.
it's because I feel like when you make a move like that, it's because you feel like you're one player away.
Hmm.
You can, like the Broncos feel like they're one player away, so they made a sacrifice and got Russell Wilson. I don't think the Raiders are Devonte Adams player away from a Super Bowl. So he's starting to get closer to the back end of his career. They gave up a lot. They could have drafted a young receiver. They could have helped that horrible offensive line with the picks they traded away. So I feel like they gave up a lot for him when they could have really. It was a great draft for receivers. So I think that they could have drafted one, continue to build that way, just because I don't think they're one player away. So they're going to have to prove everybody wrong and see if that actually makes a difference.
Yeah, I actually like that. So, how did you feel about the Dolphins training for Tyreek Hill? I got a same thing.
No, I think that was pretty good. The Dolphins are more talented than you think, actually. I think that one was pretty good on the Dolphin side.
Okay. Let me bring it back to the Raiders. Yeah, shoot. I was like, oh man, same thing. Okay. Oh no. Okay. So, on that note, I have a trading Brian Edwards, the young wide receiver that they had for a 5th-round pick. I know he wasn't you looked at his numbers, he wasn't like, super like statistically great, but he had moments. I thought he showed flashes that he can be a pretty solid wide receiver in this league. And just to kind of give him up for a 5th-round pick, not even keeping on with injuries and stuff, like you said, could they have just kept him and worked with him and used the picks elsewhere for linemen and stuff? I don't know. There's flashes. I actually liked him whenever I watched the Raiders last year. So I don't know. I just think getting rid of a young wide receiver, I think it's his 3rd year in the league. This is going to be his 3rd year. So I don't know why they traded him away for a 5th-round pick. So that was one of my least favorite moves that they made. Okay. Are you guys ready for the next topic?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's that? Yeah.
I'm ready.
Okay, let's do it. Okay. What will make the season for the Raiders a success or failure? I've lost track, so we'll just start with Tyler. I'll restart the cycle. Go ahead, Tyler. Tell me what's going to make the Raiders season a success or failure.
What'll make it a success is that Devonte Adams, it needs to pay off. So there needs to be that connection between Derek Carr and him, and they need to win games. And again, just like pretty much every team in this division, playoffs. You got to make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're not going to make the playoffs, then they need to tank so that they get some draft picks for the next season because the time's going to run out with Devonte. And so make it either tanking really bad or at least making the playoffs.
Now, do they have their first round pick next year, or did they trade that in the Adams trade too? Was it 2 firsts or just a first?
I don't know. I think it might have just been 1.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that's a good one, because you got to make it worth even like, that's the thing as a Dolphin fan, not to bring it back to the Dolphins, but they made a big trade for a wide receiver, is like, as long as the connection's good, then it's worth it. Like, if it's a great connection. So if Carr and Adams have a great connection, that's worth it. And then obviously that would hopefully, you think, would just lead to wins. That's what you hope then, right? So yeah, I'm with you on that one. How about you, Jason?
Yeah, similar thought on that. I think that of all the teams, this is the one that really has to score points, and making that trade, making that come through with Devontae to put them over the top. I think there was a lot of pressure on this offense. Yeah,
I agree with both you guys. I will say that I'll also have making the playoffs, which is, you made the playoffs last year. You can't trade and then go backwards. Like, that's just, you shouldn't be doing that. So you got to make the playoffs this year. And I just wanted to say, yes, it's just this year's first that they traded. So it wasn't 2 firsts. So that's good. So yeah, they got to make the playoffs for this season to make sense. You can't be moving backwards.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any additional? Oh, sorry, Tyler. What was that?
Oh, I just said absolutely in agreement with what you said.
Absolutely. That's what I like to hear. I agree with everything you say, Ryan.
Everything you said, Ryan, is perfect.
Thank you. Any additional questions for the Raiders?
No, I didn't have any.
Oh, go ahead, Tyler.
The offensive line. That offensive line needs to improve. And if they improve, will that improve their running back Jacobs? Because they're to keep up, they need to score points, and so that offensive line, I think, will be their biggest downfall.
Okay, I like that one. I have do they move on from Derek Carr if they have a bad season and Carr is part of the reason? That's been like, I know they just gave him a deal, but that has been like in the NFL like ether forever. Like, what I'm saying? It's just like always been, the trading Derek Carr. John Gruden wants to trade Derek Carr. So I'm just like, when is the point when you're like, listen, we got to try a different quarterback back here? So I'm just wondering, if it doesn't work out this season, do they look to move Carr, or are they just going to wait on that? Go ahead, Tyler.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good one. And I think with Josh McDaniels here, if he doesn't do good, he's known to move on. So he showed that when he was with the Broncos.
Yeah. Fair point. Okay, let's do over-unders. We'll start with you, Jason. The Raiders had an 8.5 over-under wins that I found. So do you have over-under for the Raiders?
Yeah, so as you said, they had a lot of teams close in this division, so somebody's got to go. And so I got the Raiders being the one that doesn't work out so well for them. The way I looked at it in their schedule, I have them way under. I have them at 4 wins this year.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Hot take. I got to get a hot take button. Sizzling that. What about you, Tyler? Over under 8.5 wins for the Raiders?
No, I have them actually over 8.5 wins.
Okay.
But I see them doing better than 8.5 wins. Doesn't get you in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you also can't get 8.5 wins in a season, but
right.
That doesn't put them in the playoffs in my book, and I do see them as being a playoff team. So definitely getting more than that.
Okay. I have a slight over, so I have 9 and 8, slight over. But I feel like 8's the right number. I don't know why I didn't go under, because I was like, oh, I think I was thinking 8. I might actually go 8 and 9, but I'll stick with that. I got 9 and 8 over, just by a half a game. That's it. Yeah. Okay, you guys are ready to talk about the beast of the West for the last 3, 4, 5, 6 years. You guys ready to talk about that team, the Kansas City Chiefs? Thanks so much for watching this clip of NuttieBuddie Sports. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you'd like to listen to the rest of the podcast, click on one of the links down below. And if you want to give us your thoughts on any team in any division, let us know in the comments down below. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. Thanks so much for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we will talk to you guys soon.